Welcome to another episode of Ashitaka Recommends. Today I'm going to go over Sonic Lost World, the latest game in the Sonic series.
Drop the critters, Eggman!
Since Sonic the Hedgehog went 3D back with his first real 3D game, Sonic Adventure, the series has been mediocre at best, usually disappointing fans and making them wary of any new games in the series. Many fans, however, have been a bit more confident in the more recent entries because some of the many problems that have plagued Sonic games in the past have been fixed. That's not to say the newer Sonic games aren't without their problems, but it's worth noting that the newer games, such as Sonic Generations, are quite enjoyable when compared with the earlier titles.
Whoa! What's that in the clouds?
Sonic Lost World is no different. There are many things about it that make it a pretty good game, but it leaves a lot to be desired.
Less looking! More landing!
Alright, I can land it, but it's gonna be bumpy.
Those of you who played Sonic Colors on the Nintendo Wii will get to experience the same caliber of cheesy cutscenes that Sonic Colors had, but in HD! The voice actors appear to be the same ones from Sonic Colors, and the script is about as cheesy as they come. The cutscene presentation, however, is very well done. The colors are bright and vivid and look great in HD. The music in the game is fun and energizing, which for a Sonic game is par for the course. The only problem here is that Sonic Lost World is a much slower game than the traditional lightning-fast Sonic games of the past. This basically means that the music can feel out of place at times. That being said, the soundtrack is mostly enjoyable to listen to and shouldn't detract from the game too terribly much. The graphics of Sonic Lost World are pretty good overall. They show off some of the power of the Wii U by displaying crisp textures and relatively high polygon count models throughout. The game runs at a steady 30 frames per second and is displayed natively at 1080p. If there's one thing that Sonic Team has always been good at, it's creating vividly colored worlds that avoid the drab grays and browns of today's modern games. Sonic Lost World's gameplay is really where the game takes a nosedive in the quality department. The first thing you will notice is that the game lacks any kind of tutorial mode to get you familiar with the controls. This proves very detrimental in the first stage. Aside from the obvious controls, such as using the thumbstick to move Sonic and pressing a button to make Sonic jump, you have to play with the controls to figure out how to do things. For example, to make Sonic run, you must hold the right trigger while tilting the left thumbstick forward. Since Sonic Lost World takes Sonic to a slower, more Mario-like pace, it makes sense, but there's nothing to indicate that you need to press that extra button. Controls in the game also feel like they're sometimes out to get you. When you're holding the right trigger to run, if you jump near a wall, Sonic will start to wall run. And that seems like it would be pretty intuitive, right? But many times while playing, Sonic would wall run when I didn't want him to, which would lead to death on more than one occasion. The targeting system in the game is entirely hit or miss, and is almost infuriating due to the fact that the game seems to target whatever it wants to instead of locking on to the nearest target, as in previous titles. The level design in Sonic Lost World, while not entirely terrible, is certainly not the shining star of the game. The levels are unique and provide a lot of challenge even to the seasoned Sonic player. However, there are times that had me wanting to throw the controller in frustration because I didn't know where to go or how to accomplish the task at hand. The levels also seem incredibly short and are almost too linear for a Sonic game. Boss fights in the game are decidedly simple. They don't require a whole lot of hits to take down, and they just really aren't that hard. As you can see here in the boss fight for the first level, Sonic is chasing the enemy to an endpoint where the boss then attacks using a ball of sorts. As I was playing, I got faked out just once, but the boss became incredibly predictable after that, and I was able to defeat him shortly thereafter.
You're going home in a box! I'm gonna skin you alive!
If you were one of the few people who pre-ordered Sonic Lost World, you will receive some extra downloadables that extend the gameplay by a few minutes. While it's a trivial amount of content, it's bound to take a few of you on a trip down memory lane, as it is a throwback to Nights into Dreams from the Sega Saturn. I found the extra content, which is accessible immediately after completing Stage 1-1, to be quite enjoyable. Sonic Lost World does offer a little bit of multiplayer, including a co-op mode and a 2-player race mode. It's been a long time since there has been a race mode in a Sonic game, and it's great to see it back in action in Sonic Lost World. It isn't really enough to extend the gameplay much, but it's fun just the same. Honestly, I find it hard to recommend this game to anyone but the hardcore Sonic fans out there. The graphics are good, the soundtrack is good, but the gameplay tends to be more frustrating than entertaining. The cutscenes are cheesy and forgettable, save for a smattering of humorous moments, and the levels feel short and small. My recommendation? Buy this game only if you are a hardcore Sonic fan. If you aren't, save your money and pick up Super Mario 3D World on November 22nd instead. If you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. You can also visit AshiWolf Studios at www.ashiwolfstudios.com and follow us on Twitter at Ashitaka Wolf and on Tumblr at ashitakawolf.tumblr.com.